I now want to welcome Tyrus Watson to the stage.
I am an artist and a healer. I have an inspirational sharing card game business that is growing and expanding. I enjoy juggling, fire dancing, and other artistic endeavors. I'm in a men's group where I help to facilitate men's work. I'm starting to give life coaching sessions, and I love to travel. Without a doubt, 2016 was the best year of my life, and so far this year is even better. Last year, I did 3 weekend trainings with my men's organization. I took a life coaching course. I went to 5 art events, including Burning Man, and spent a week on a houseboat on Lake Powell. Over 20 events while building my business. I did all of this while sleeping most nights in my truck or tent, no home, no cell phone, with very little money. I've been living out my truck for the most of the last 13 years. I had become sensitive to homes, smart meters, cell phones, and people. Until last year, I didn't have enough energy to do all this. I went in the Navy when I was 17, and I never should have been there. I should have had a mental evaluation to be in nuclear power and on a submarine. Twice, I missed getting an evaluation that would have surely disqualified me. After life became really stressful, I got out of the Navy early with a personality disorder diagnosis. I struggled for years to have enough money to work, but I did manage to save up money and took a trip to Australia and New Zealand for 5 months. I had an amazing time. Perhaps that trip saved my life. For when I became suicidal later, I would think of that trip and try to believe that I could be happy again. A few years later, after returning from a stressful year with my girlfriend in Switzerland, I became very sick and suicidal. I decided to do whatever I could to get better, because I could always kill myself later. I had chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue. I was so sick I could hardly get out of bed. I dreamt of the day that I would have enough energy to stand on the street corner and beg for money. I got turned down for food stamps. I did manage to get 30% disability when I was obviously 100%. I decided to fight for my health and for my life instead of fighting for my disability. I had suffered quietly for most of my life. I had daily anxiety from before I was 5 until last year. I knew I was different and worried a lot, but until recently, I didn't think that I had a mental illness. As well as anxiety and depression, I've had a multitude of different physical symptoms: aches and pains, fatigue, insomnia, headaches, daily back pain, sensitivity to lights, noise, people, food, and more. I've also had CPTSD, and I realized that I have ADD. And every day, I would read something positive and healthy. Every day, I would do something to make my life better. And as my health problems showed up, I searched for answers, and I found them. I have overcome codependency, addictive behaviors, anxiety, and depression. I have eliminated triggers, releasing mental and emotional blocks, and healing the physical symptoms. It took me 10 years to heal my adrenal glands. And I am a survivor of family abuse. For several years, I spent $400 a month on organic food and about $200 on supplements when I didn't have enough money to pay for a place to stay. For years, a $10 purchase was a large purchase for me. Last month, I worked full-time for the first time in years. And I was not exhausted at the end of the work week for the first time in decades. The last few years, I've cried a lot. There's been months at a time when I cried every day. I've cried in grief of what I've lost. I've lost everything except my truck. I've lost my family because they all have similar issues. I've lost friends, homes, relationships. Years ago, my girlfriend had an abortion because I couldn't support myself, let alone a family. I lost my dreams. And I've had tears of joy for being alive and for being healthy, for having a second chance for life, a chance to make up for all the missed opportunities. My challenges have made me into the person who I am today, and for that I am truly grateful. I'm grateful for being alive and for being healthy. Thank you.